In reality, instead of using a basket of commodities for determining the determining the exchange rate based on relative PPP, you can use a price index, the price index of all commodities in the market, in the domestic market. How you have BSE Sensex, Nifty 50 index, same way you can create an index for the prices of commodities. You can begin with the base price as 100. This is for US, for India. You can begin with the base price and you can monitor the increase in price level, increase in the index level. Let's say the index rises from 100 to 108 in the US, and for India it will rise from 100 to 115. With this information, this is over a period of 1 year, this will happen. With this information, you can calculate the possible exchange rate, or you can forecast the exchange rate based on this relative PPP theory. How do we do that? The formula that I gave you, the formula proposed by relative PPP theory, the new exchange rate is equal to the old exchange rate into 1 plus the inflation rate in the domestic country divided by the 1 plus the inflation rate in the foreign country. The one thing that is missing here is, I had not told you when I was discussing this formula, is there is one n here, the number of period. This is essential. If you are calculating the exchange rate based on the inflation for a period over 1 year, then n will be 1. So whatever calculations we had made that time in the previous example, assume that it was for a period of 1 year, because we have not used anything there. If it's a period of 1 year, then it means 1. So it doesn't matter, 1 doesn't matter. Therefore, assume that in the previous problem, I have not told you there, I have not told there that there is an n. Please put n there in the formula. And because we have not taken this into consideration there, we will take it as 1 and assume that we have taken 1 as 1 into consideration, which means whatever we have calculated, the price changes was for 1 year. There I had written yesterday and after 1 month in the question. Instead of using after 1 month, you write after 1 year. 10,000 was in the beginning, 10,200 was in the beginning, and after 1 year it became 11,212. 11,000 for India, 212 for US after a period of 1 year, which means here in the formula you put 1 to the power 1. If it was for a half year, if you were calculating exchange rate for 6 months, based on the 6 months inflation, then n becomes 1 by 2. N becomes 1 by 2. 1 year divided by 1 full year is divided into 2 parts, 6 months. Same way you can do it for quarters also, 3 months, 4 months, any number of months you can do. Now here let us say in the formula there is n, and let us say this was in January and this is in December. Over a period of 1 year, 100 has become 108 in US, 100 has become 115 in India. This is the price index movement. We have created, instead of a basket, we have created an index, and that index value has become this much at the end of the year. Now you can apply these figures in the formula and find out the probable new exchange rate, possible new exchange rate. Old rate will remain the same, our 45, what was there on January, it will be 45. And for this, we don't have the inflation rate. We can calculate the inflation rate, or directly we can calculate this full thing. 1 plus I we can calculate by dividing. Domestic is India for us. Domestic is India. This is foreign country. 115 divided by 100. If you do that, we will get I 1 plus I for domestic country, whole divided by 108 divided by 100. You will get 1 plus I for the foreign country. Now if you solve it, 115 divided by 100 means it is equal to 45 into 1.15 divided by 1.08. That is the inflation. What will be the answer? 1.15 divided by 1.08 is equal to 1.06 into 45. So the answer will be 47.92. 47.92. This will be the exchange rate after 1 year according to the relative version of purchasing power parity theory. Okay, that's it about purchasing power parity theory. Only thing, remember this, there is a n here. If it is 1 year, then put 1. Sorry, I didn't put 1 here again, to the power 1. If it is for 6 months, if the index was, this value was for 6 months, then you take 1 by 2. Or 1/4 of the year, 1 by 4. Okay, it depends on what index value, what day's index value you are taking. Okay, that's it about purchasing power parity theory. One theory, two versions: absolute version and relative version. We prefer the relative version over the absolute version. Now let us discuss one more theory. It is interest rate parity theory. Interest rate parity theory. We are still determining the exchange rates. In current account balance, we said based on the current account balance, the rates will fluctuate, rates will move. Based on purchasing power parity theory, we tried to determine what would be the exchange rate. The basis for absolute version was the price of commodity will be the same in each country when the value is measured in one currency. When you measure the value of coffee in rupees, let it be sold anywhere, either in US or India. If you measure that 1 kg coffee's value in rupees, then the Indian market value and the US market value should be same. When you measure in one currency, it should be same. So there the law of one price is applicable. The price of commodity will be the same even though the prices are sold in two different countries. Why? Because there is absolute purchasing power parity. Relative purchasing power, instead of taking the absolute values, it decided to take the change in the prices, relative change in the price. It decided to take inflation rather than the actual or absolute change. Now, interest rate parity, it speaks about law of one price, like the absolute version. But here, instead of speaking about prices of commodities being the same, we speak about interest rates being the same in different financial markets. Meaning, if I am going to, suppose I have 100 rupees with me in my hand right now, I have 100 rupees. I have two options to invest that 100 rupees. Either I can invest it in India or I can invest it abroad, US. Either I invest in India or I invest in US. The returns that I get, the future value of that investment that I get should be the same. let me invest anywhere, be it in US or India, but final value that I get should be the same. That is what interest rate parity says. The interest rate, the future value of an investment invested in two different countries will be the same when you measure it in one currency. That is what is the interest rate parity. We speak about the parity or the equilibrium in the international financial markets here. Interest rate parity is not actually used to calculate the foreign exchange rate, a quotation. It is not used to calculate, but it is highly used in calculating forward rates. Spot rate is given to you. To calculate the forward rate, interest rate parity is used. The formula given by interest rate parity is used. Let us see how the formula for interest rate parity is derived, or in other words, what is the equation that shows interest rate parity in two countries. The interest rate, the income, the future value that you receive should be the same from both the countries. Why this is essential? Because why discussing this is essential? Because I invest bank FD is 7%, 6% in India, let's say. SBI gives me 6% FD. I go and buy one FD. 100 rupees I invest, I get 6 rupees at the end of the year. I can choose to invest in US. Same 100 rupees, I can choose to invest in US. Will I get same 6 rupees if I invest in US at the same interest rate? Relative interest rate, will I get same 6 rupees back after 1 year? We do not know. We cannot say exactly, because when you are investing in India, you only have to take your money, rupee money, and you have to invest in a rupee denominated instrument. Bank FD of SBI in India is rupee denominated. So you get interest in rupees, your investment is in rupees, your future value is also in rupees. But if you choose to invest in US, then first 100 rupees you have in your hand, first you should convert that 100 into dollars, then invest those dollars in US at the US interest rate. That is not it. After 1 year, what you get? You get dollars. You don't get rupees, because you have invested dollars in dollar denominated instruments in the US. The future value will be denominated in US dollars only. Now the third thing that you have to do is you have to convert those USDs back to rupees. Now you should check whether the interest you received in India and the interest you received in US is the same, because there are so many things involved when you invest abroad. In India, you got 100 you invested, you got 106, fine. But when you invest in US, convert 100 into dollars first. That's the first step. Then invest in dollar denominated bonds. Then 3, convert back to rupees. The dollar value you should convert back. Now whatever dollar value you get, convert dollar. This dollar value you convert it into rupees. This rupee and this rupee should be equal. If this rupee gained from investing in India is same as the rupee gained from investing abroad, then there is interest rate parity between two countries. Interest rate parity between India and US. Or you could also say that if there is interest rate parity, if the converted dollar will come back to 106, it means I will not think of going and investing in US. There is no point in converting to dollars, it's finding dollar bonds and then converting dollars back to rupees. There is no point in doing so when the return is same. You will be indifferent. You will not have any interest in investing in the US market, because whatever you get there, you get in the Indian market. So why to go to US market? That's the point about interest rate parity. If there is interest rate parity, then you don't go in search of other market. But if this interest rate parity does not hold good, if in India the value received was 106 and the rupee value of dollar future value, dollar conversion was 150, then what you do, instead of investing in India, you will go and invest in the US, because rupee value you get is more from US investment than Indian investment. If this situation exists, here 150, here 106, it means there is no interest rate parity. This change is happening only because of two things. One is the interest rate available in the US. Second, the value at which you convert your dollars into rupees, value or the foreign exchange rate at which you convert dollar into rupees, and the interest rate in US will give you this value, will have an impact on this value. If both those things are favorable, higher interest rate in US and favorable exchange rate of USD and INR, then you will surely go and choose to invest in US rather than India. With the interest rate parity equation, what you can do is you will be given interest rates for two countries. Your work is to check whether there is interest rate parity. If there is interest rate parity, I'll give you an equation. It will be left hand side, it will be right hand side. If the left hand side equals the right hand side, as I told earlier, 106, 106. If the left hand side equals right hand side, this is of domestic side, foreign side, then there is interest rate parity. You don't get any extra benefit by investing abroad. If the left hand side does not match the right hand side, if they are different, then interest rates are said to be in, the financial markets are said to be in disequilibrium, and you can profit by investing in the country where you get more returns. Okay, now let's move on to the equation. How equation can be derived? I am using this rupee and dollar example only to derive the equation. Let us derive the equation from the beginning. I will not give you the formula directly. Okay, when you say interest rate parity, two things. We are basically speaking about, let's say you have ₹1 with you. With this ₹1, and you want to invest that ₹1. ₹1 you have, you want to invest it. Where you can invest? There are two possibilities. In India and in US. India means you are an Indian. I am an Indian now. I have ₹1 with me. I can invest either in India or in the US. India means this is the domestic country, this is the foreign country. Okay. If you invest ₹1 in India, after 1 year, how much return you will get? How it is calculated? ₹1, rupee 1. The interest on this rupee 1 is, if you go back to your compound interest formula, 1 plus interest rate in the domestic country to the power n, or here it is 1 after 1 year. Here it is 1. We'll ignore this. It is 1 because after 1 year we will get 1 into 1 plus r to the power n. That's the formula. 1 is the present value. This is the compound interest formula. Compound interest, when you multiply compound interest with your present value, you will get the future value. We'll ignore that. Ignore what is the future value. This is what you are going to get. 1 into 1 plus I to the power n in the domestic market. If you want to, second choice is to invest in the US. To invest in the US, I told you have 3 activities. First activity is convert rupees into dollar first. How to convert rupees into dollars? You will get, converting rupee into dollar equals the dollar value $1 into 1 divided by spot rate. 1 divided by spot rate. This is the spot rate. At this value, in this way, you will be converting your rupees into dollars. I can show you how it is done. Earlier, let us say instead of 1 rupee, let us say we have 100 rupees to invest. Okay, we have 100 rupees to invest, and USD INR exchange rate right now is 75 rupees. 1 USD equals 75 rupees. The exchange rate is this much. For 1 USD, to get 1 USD, you have to give 75 rupees. Now, if you are going to invest the equivalent amount in US, you have to convert this 100 rupees into USDs. So, how many USDs you will be getting? How will you do that? 100. See, 1 USD is equal to 75 INRs. You have INR 100 rupees. You cross multiply. You have to find out how many USDs you will get. So the calculation is 100 rupees into 1 USD divided by rupees 75. If you give names to these numbers, then this is $1. So you can ignore 1. 1 means dollar here. This means dollar. This means the investment amount. Here I have taken 1 because we are taking 1 rupee investment. So we can say 100 rupees is rupee 1, or 1 divided by 75 is the spot rate. So 1 by S into dollar is the rate at which you will be converting your rupee into dollars. That's the first step. That's the first step. Second step, you have got dollars in your hand. You have to invest those dollars. You have to invest those dollars in the US market, and what return you will get? You will get dollars will be invested S into 1 plus I in the foreign country. This is what you will get at the end of 1 year. You see, first part is the conversion of rupee into dollar at this rate, and whatever value you get, you will be investing it at this rate and you will be earning some interest. This is what you will get at the end of the year. Now, to make this make the investment in US investment here is not risk free. US investment is not risk free here because when you have to convert the amount that you receive, this is the final product, the future value that you receive. When you have to convert it back to rupee, you will have foreign exchange risk. The spot rate might have changed. So when you have foreign exchange risk, then these are not equal investments. This is a risk-free investment, and you cannot say this as a risk-free investment. In interest rate parity, we are investing in risk-free investments, or the investments that are completely default free or credit risk free, like in government bonds. Here you invested in government securities, risk free securities. Here also you invested in risk free, but still there is an exchange risk. When you convert back this dollar into rupee, you will have exchange risk. You will incur exchange, you will face exchange risk. When you are facing exchange risk, then it is not a risk-free investment. You cannot compare these two. In order to hedge this foreign exchange risk of conversion, loss of value because of conversion, risk of loss of value because of conversion, in order to hedge this, you can enter into a forward contract today. Here at this point, you enter into a forward contract and hedge the foreign exchange risk. How will you enter into a forward contract? All this thing will be multiplied by the forward rate. Now 1 by S, 1 plus I, the interest rate in foreign country, here it is US, multiply it with the forward rate, the answer that you get, the value that you get will be in rupees. Or this whole equation, if you multiply this whole thing, you multiply this part, this is in dollars. You see 1 by S is dollars here, 1 by S is the invested amount, and you have invested at this interest rate, so it is denominated in dollar. This is the dollar value of your investment after 1 year, and here you are getting, and here in the last equation you have converted this dollar value at the forward rate into rupees. So this is actually in rupee denominations. It is in rupees. This value is in rupees. When you multiply this thing with F, the forward rate, it gets converted back into rupees. So we have done the two parts. This is the investment in domestic country. This is the investment in the foreign country. The return you get here should match the return you get here. In other words, this return, the value that you get here, should match with the value that you get here. If it is matching, then there is interest rate parity. With these two equations, two values, let us write the equation for interest rate parity. How does interest rate parity look like? The interest rate parity will be given like this. The interest in the domestic country, the interest you receive in the domestic country should be equal to, here the interest, we are ignoring when you multiply it by 1, then you are getting future value. Here we are not talking about future value. Our theory is interest rate, so we'll think about interest rate only. Let us take only interest rate. So this is the interest portion. So the interest portion that you receive in the domestic country should be equal to the interest portion you receive in the foreign country after conversion. So you have to get into a forward contract, hedge your foreign exchange risk, make the foreign investment risk free, and then compare that return with the domestic return. So what you will be writing here? So this is in rupee value. This equation, this part of the equation goes into the interest rate parity equilibrium equation. You can write 1 by S into 1 plus I interest rate in the foreign country multiply converted at the forward rate, hedged at the forward, hedge in the forward market. This is the dollar return. Hedged in the forward market, you will get rupee value only. This is also in rupees, this is also in rupees. Rupee. Because it is in rupees, we are ignoring it. Forget about this. Now you have got an equation where you can, which you can universally apply with any country. There can be you can slightly modify. This is 1 by S here. Instead of taking 1 by S, you can multiply F with 1, and you will get forward by spot into 1 plus I interest rate in the foreign country. So this is the interest rate parity equation. The return you generate here should be equal to the return you generate here. If this exists, then there is interest rate parity. Then there is equilibrium in the financial market. If on this side, if on the left hand side you get more return, here the return is 6 rupees. For every 100 I invested, it's 6 rupees. And here also, if you get 6 rupees, interest rate parity, IRP holds, IRP exists, interest rate policy exists, or IRP equation holds true. If here it is 6 rupee, here it is 7 rupee, or if here it is 7 rupee and here it is 6 rupee, in both these cases IRP equation not true. It is not true, which means it is disequilibrium. Disequilibrium, here it is equilibrium. So this theory, you can use it. First of all, this theory can be used in identifying investment opportunities. If you want to invest in a risk-free investment, and if you want to check whether you can benefit from investing abroad, then you can use this equation. You find out two investments, one in India, one in abroad, and the investment that you should choose should be similar. Similar in what way? Similar in the risk feature. You should pick a risk-free investment in India and a risk-free investment abroad, and you identify the rates of those investments for both the countries. In foreign country, how much is it? Domestic country, how much is it? Because it is a fixed investment, you know what is the future value of the return that you get. You know the value. 1 by S into 1 plus IFC, you actually know today how much you will get at the end of the year, because it is a fixed investment, fixed return investment. Which means you can hedge that fixed value, future value, now itself in the forward market. So find out the forward hedge that future value, future return from the market, and calculate and find out what return you will get in two countries. If it is the same, then you need not go and invest abroad. You can invest directly in India. If you find a difference, it means there is an opportunity of making more money. Which place? It depends. If it is less in India, domestic, and more abroad, then go and invest abroad. If it is more in the domestic country than in the foreign country, then invest in the domestic country. Why will you waste your money? Why will you lose some money by investing abroad? So with this, you can identify investment opportunities. Secondly, I already mentioned this. Interest rate parity is mainly used to calculate the forward rates. I have not discussed forward rate calculation yet from the spot rates. From the spot rate, you calculate forward rates. It's a derivative. How from the spot market, in the stock market, you take the spot prices and derive the future values from the spot, from the underlying security. Same way, from the spot foreign exchange quotes, you derive forward exchange quotes. Interest rate parity formula is also used for calculating forward rates. Why? Because you see there is a forward rate here, F here. So if you interchange, you will get the forward, the way to calculate forward rates. This will be the interest rate differentials. Other than that, everything remains the same. I will teach this when I will be discussing forward rates again in detail. That's it about interest rate parity. Some more discussion is to be done about forward premium and forward discount here. How forward premium and forward discount impacts the returns. But I will discuss that after dealing with the forward market. Forward market, I have to discuss about how to calculate forward rates. Then I have to also discuss forward premiums and forward discounts. After discussing forward premiums and forward discounts, I will come back to this and tell you what is influencing what. Like when the left hand side will be more. Is it when there is a forward premium, or is it when the domestic country is at a forward discount? That is what we will discuss in the later classes. Okay, thank you for watching this video.